I lost my man's best friend on Friday. We had to compassionately put my dog Lala down because she got sick. She couldn't walk anymore. She's having seizures, just heart failure. And she inspired today's video about narcissists and dealing with grief. There's no script today, y'all. This is just your good old Lee Hammock, the diagnosed narcissist, giving you an inside look at real life and whatnot, right? So my dog Lala, we had her for about 13 years, almost exactly 13 years. Like me and my wife moved in together our first time in December of 2011, December of 2012. We got Lala February of 2013. So pretty much every time since we've been living together, we always had her, right? We always had her. She's always been around. She's always kind of been in the background of our lives. Like we got her when my oldest son, it's kind of crazy. We got her when he was born in 2008. So he was about 3 years old, 3.5 years old when we got her. So he's 17 now. He's about to graduate from high school. So she's always been around, like forever. And when she started getting sick and stuff like that, she got diagnosed with a stage 4 heart murmur and whatnot. And, was it, I can't even think of Cushing's disease and whatnot as well. So it's really tough to hear that, right? In my mind, the way I process things, like I put it to the back burner of my brain, right? That literally went to the back burner of my brain. I like so much stuff going on. She's gonna live. Like I was kind of in denial for a long time, and then she just took a sudden turn for the worst. And people were just like, online, online, and people and stuff like that say it's the best decision to make to, let her go out peacefully as opposed to suffering and whatnot. It was just very, very, very tough to deal with, and just seeing, I just don't like dealing with grief, man. I know this is not just narcissists. Most people don't like dealing with grief, but it's just like I process it very, very uniquely. And like I'm watching my kids, boohoo cry, all of them. Like she's been around all my kids, my 17-year-old, my 9-year-old, and my 5-year-old. They all, especially my younger kids, that's their whole life, you know. And watching them boohoo cry and stuff like that, it's so uncomfortable to me. Like it's so uncomfortable, and I just feel like, oh my god, like I don't like this pain, you know. I don't like this pain. It really does. Like even in when I've had friends who've lost their parents, my family members who lost their parents or their own children, that pain that they're going through, I don't want any parts of. So a lot of people ask me like, Lee, do you ever want to be normal? Do you ever want to just have a bunch of empathy and feel and have all this compassion and stuff like that? I just be like, look, not really, because that pain, man, that pain is something that I hate experiencing. I hate watching my kids suffer. You have to let them process through it. Watching my wife cry because my wife is the one who picked her out, right? My wife literally picked her out of a litter of a bunch of puppies, and that's always been a little floppy-eared Beagle Jack Russell Terrier mix, right? She's always been literally part of our family for so long. It's very, very difficult to imagine life without her, And I'm still grieving now because like the spot where she slept at, her bed, and I haven't touched her bowl, her dog bowl, anything like that, right? So it's really very difficult to process it and just imagine life without her. And a lot of people ask me, like, do narcissists care about pets? Can a narcissist love a pet, love an animal? Yeah, absolutely. The problem, and it's not funny, y'all, but the problem is sometimes the narcissist that you might be dealing with only cares about the pets, right? They only care about the pet. Like they'll come home from a long day at work, a long day out here causing chaos in the world, and run right past you and show the dog some love. Feed the goldfish. Hey fishy, hey goldfishy. Pet the ferret. Talk to the parrot. they'll go vent to the parrot that y'all got, as opposed to talking to you. There's so many different things that go on in this situation that end up happening, which is why it's very difficult to deal with and very difficult to process. As someone diagnosed with NPD, someone that's been battling this personality disorder forever, that's why it's very difficult, man. It sucks. Like if you're, and this is not just speaking for me, right? If you are dealing with a narcissist that is dealing with grief, a lot of times what ends up happening is you become the target of that grief, right? You become the target. They'll blame you. They'll lash out at you. You'll get some narcissistic rage episodes. There'll be a lot of different things that will be happening and going on and transpiring that is so difficult to deal with, right? So tough. Such a hard thing. And because narcissists, including myself, right, we don't know how to process our emotions in a healthy way. A lot of people tend to think that narcissists have no emotion, that we can't feel, we can't love, we can't, right? But it's just not true. We can feel, we can love, we can care. We just don't know how to process it and do it in a healthy way. That's the biggest struggle right there, is processing it and dealing with it in any type of healthy dynamic. Like, and that's why you get the anger. That's why you get the rage. That's why you get the vitriol that comes from a narcissist when they're grieving, because they don't know what to do with it. And this is me, this is me in no way, shape, or form making an excuse for a toxic narcissistic person. Y'all know that. Y'all know, even though I'm a diagnosed narcissist, we don't do that here. Shout out to Chadwick Boseman. We don't do that here. Don't bow to me. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. But that's what it really is, a tough thing to deal with, man. Because, like, you have a narcissist in your life, like, especially if they're dealing with a pet or a parent or whoever it is. They don't know how to deal with grief. They don't know how to process things like that. They will take it out on you. So when a narcissist is grieving, just be careful. Be on the lookout. Like yesterday, my son had a basketball game. This is like real life. My son had a basketball tournament. He got hurt. And I just felt, and my dog passed away Friday. And we, my son had a basketball tournament in High Point on Saturday. So I'm sitting there, I'm like still processing emotions, still doing everything, still going on in my mind. And I'm like, man, what in the hell? How do we deal? You know, he got hurt, and I was just disconnected, man. I was just out there. Of course, I shook myself out of it and showed him love and made sure I took care of him and whatnot. But like initially, I was just like logged out. It's embarrassing to say that I was literally logged out emotionally at that point. I was like, I got nothing else to give. My son is hurt. Dog done passed, like, you know, I put my dog down. Just like, it's such a tough dynamic to deal with overall in the process. And that's why I say I think it's so important to recognize that if you're dealing with a narcissist and they're grieving, sometimes it's best for you. Of course, you want to acknowledge them. You don't want to just disappear, because they'll hold that against you as well, right? You can't win for losing when you're dealing with a narcissist, right? You can, because they'll hold it against you. If you are there for a narcissist when they're dealing with grief, they'll still be angry and vitriolic towards you, hurtful towards you. If you decide to leave them be, they'll be hurtful and angry towards. There's damn near no winning. So it's kind of like, what do you feel is the best in this situation for you? Because that's what you have to choose sometimes, right there, right? That's what you have to choose. That's what you have to pick. That's going to be the choice that you have to make in order to protect yourself, in order to stay as healthy as possible and safe as possible. Because in these situations, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So I tell people what I say. Choose the damned that you can live with, right? Because if you're going to be like, some people will just like, hey, they're grieving. They didn't show me no, when I was grieving, they didn't care about me. So, hey, some people can't live with that. Some people just like, even though I know they're going to get mad, I have to show them something. I have to give them something. This is who I am as a human. This is who I am as a person. So I understand that point of view as well, right? So it's like being able to protect yourself, being able to guard yourself, being able to see what you can live with. Because when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, this is literally what you're going to be up against. You know, you're literally going to be up against an abusive manipulator that is in need, that needs you for something. You know what I'm saying? And that's a tough thing to deal with. An abusive, lying, cheating, ass-beating narcissist that probably will not be there for you unless there's some strings attached. They expect you to be there for them. You know, they expect you to be there for them face to face, in person, here, there, everywhere. That's what they expect. Is that what they're going to get? I don't know. Like, it's up to you. Because me and my wife were there the whole time when everything was going on with my dog. We were there. We had my kids didn't come, of course, thank goodness. But me and my wife were there. I held my wife's hand. We cried together. She cried. I cried. We crewed together. Right. And I don't even like crying, man. I don't think you understand. I hate crying. But as someone who's trying to get into the acting world, I need to cry. I need to learn how to cry and experience emotion. So that's like sometimes these moments are this kind of moment of grief for me personally is a self-discovery journey. It's like telling myself it's okay to cry. Telling myself it's okay to be vulnerable. Like, what is my wife going to do? She's going to use it against me that I cried when we had to put our dog down that had been with us for 13 years. What is I'm saying? What are we going to cry about right there in this situation? How are we going to cry? What are you going to say? I watched my husband cry. Back in the day, before I was on this personal development journey, I would refuse to cry because I thought it looked weak. I thought it was weakness. Even in those moments when I was crying, even when my dog, before we went to the place where we went to, healing, shout out to Healing Paws. in Hillsborough, North Carolina, because that's amazing people. Like when you have to go through something stuff like that, there's so much kindness and empathy in that place. Healing Paws, that's the place we're gonna take our cat to for just get his checkup and stuff. But like Healing Paws in Hillsborough, North Carolina, over by the Walmart and Goodwill, amazing place, amazing staff. I don't even know if y'all live in North Carolina, but Healing Paws over there by Home Depot and stuff like that in Hillsborough, amazing staff. They were so kind and empathetic, and they would feel like they were gonna cry with us, you know. So I was just in my mind when I was crying, my thought process was like, okay, this is good because I'm a human, I can cry. But the narcissistic part of me was like, these people are judging me for being a weakling, for crying. The narcissistic part of my brain was like, these people are literally judging me for crying. So when we had to go through the process, put my dog down, like I felt like I wanted to cry, right? But part of me was holding it back because I'm like, these people are going to judge me for crying. These people are going to judge me for shedding tears of my dog, my sick dog, you know. But the part of me that has been working, the cognizant part of me was like, who cares? Who cares? You're a human being. These are human emotions. You're a human. So it allowed me to cry in that moment. It allowed me to experience grief in that moment. It allowed me to be vulnerable in that moment. And when I'm able to be vulnerable, it lets me know that I can love. Because I don't think you can love without being vulnerable. The reason I was crying because I loved, because I was vulnerable in that moment. Because my dog, who had been around, like literally, my dog, my DAWG and my DOG, who had been around for 13 years. Like, it's crazy. My son, like when he was younger, had a speech impediment, so he couldn't really say a whole bunch of words. So when we got her, there's so many different names we wanted to name her. We named her Lala because it was easy to say. That's literally where her name came from, like Lala. So it's just like Mama Lala. It's easy to say for him, and that's why like he cried too, 17 years old, and that's so good, man. I know it's like I hate to see my kids in pain, but it's so good that they can cry and they can experience vulnerability. They can experience grief. I was like, damn, they're not like me when I was young. And that made me so proud, man. It really did. It made me so proud that they're not like me. They're a lot like me. They're funny, they're smart and stuff like that, you know. But the vulnerability, they're crying. I'm like, that's so good of them being able to do that. I was so proud of them being able to do that. And they like this crying. I'm like, I'm so proud of my kids, man. So proud of my wife. It was just like those moments in time right there. You know, we miss my dog, my DAWG, my DOG. Like, she was truly loved. You know, she was truly loved, truly grateful for every moment we got to spend with her, every like just in the background and foreground of our lives for so long. And I just want to do this video as a shout out and remembrance to my DAWG, Lala, and how even her passing helped. It's been help. You know what I mean? Just so love your animals, y'all. Hug them, kiss them tightly. You never know. They there. Even if sometimes we don't notice them every single day. They always there, y'all. So if y'all made it to the end of the video, I truly appreciate y'all. I'm truly thankful for you. Leave a little dog emoji in the comment section as a remembrance of Lala and of all your pets and animals or cat or whatever that you've lost along the way or that you own right now, that you have that's part of your family right now. It doesn't have to be remembrance. It could be like just a shout out. Anyways, y'all, I love y'all. I'm grateful for y'all. I'm still grieving now. That's why y'all don't see the crazy energy that's bouncing around normally in videos. I'm getting back to me, you know. So I appreciate y'all. mentalhealness.net for all things Lee Hammock. I'm thankful for you. Peace.